Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Podcast presented by DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook. Make sure you download the app. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up. And wow. Luke Stuckmeyer, Cody Del Mendo in our matching shirts because we're twinning for Tuesday.
Unintentionally.
CHGO Lockers where you pick up the dope merch like that. We've got some other great shirts for you. What a game. You know, we said, first of all, this week is special so far because we've got like summer weather in Chicago in early April. And I said the other day, get to the ballpark. If you can get to the ballpark, go to the ballpark, right?
I'm so jealous of
Corey.
Corey.
The ball's going to be flying out. Little did we know we had this game on our hands
in April.
Cody, I don't know how we do this show. Like I don't know what the chat's going to be like. Are we supposed to be thrilled and excited about a 7-run comeback that you sort of predicted on Twitter? Or are we supposed to be, sitting on our hands and panicking because Dansby left the game with what sort of sounds like an oblique injury, lower left side tightness?
Well, hopefully when Ryan Herrera joins us later in the show, he'll have more information.
Yes.
So with that said, for right now, I'm choosing to celebrate the fact that the Mariners blew a 7-0 lead. And I was told this team didn't have a good offense. And I was told that this team couldn't score runs in bunches. I don't know what's going on with the Mariners, man, but that was an insane comeback. I mean, the grand slam. I mean, they were just chipping away. Mancini gets his first home run. And I'm like, I said the tweet as a joke. The whole my favorite part of the 7-run comeback is me sending this tweet to manifest the 7-run comeback. It's a bit. It's a joke.
Yeah.
I was just trying to have fun because we were getting blown out by the Mariners at home. And next thing I know, we get a run thanks to Yan Gomes. And then Mancini hits a 2-run shot. And then the hits keep coming. Yeah. And Nelly V comes up and shows the Cubs front office, hey, I deserve to be here opening day. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, that his grand slam. I know we've had some fun moments. We've had a lot of fun moments, and opening day was awesome. But it's hard to beat that grand slam right now. It's hard to beat that.
It reminds me of the Bodie home run when he first came up. It was the same type of like energy where you were like, they're trying to rip his shirt off, and one of those games that he'll never forget. First career grand slam, but you sort of could feel it coming. If that sounds crazy, right? Like
you could feel that the Cubs offense was
up there, and you were like, he might hit a grand slam here. Well, they even said it in the broadcast.
Yeah,
this place will erupt if he hits a grand slam, and it was like, I don't think they're crazy.
I was just so surprised that they left Flexen in as long as they did, considering how the runs were coming, or the hits were racking up, and the conditions in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Once they made it 7-4, I was surprised. I was surprised because I was like, all right, they're within a few runs here, and then it was unbelievable. I already tweeted a few times, like just an unbelievable game. So with that said, Stuck, before we go anymore, we gotta do the beer chug. All right.
The beer chug. Yeah, you don't have the beer bat at home because we're remote tonight. So you're going with the Goose Island hug?
Beer hug, bright, sunshiny haze, 6.8 alcohol. It's one of the last ones I have left from whenever we did that filming thing for that commercial we made there at their tap room.
Wait, I got to put a timer on this. Hold on. By the way, the chat. Hello to everybody in the chat. We've got looks like almost 200 people in there. If you've never been to the chat, it's a vibe. Hashtag vibe with us. That's how the post-game show goes. Cody has been drinking from the beer bat.
After wins.
Basically after wins. Okay. Yeah. And he started at like a 2.5-minute chug. Now he's down to 1 minute and 15 seconds.
Okay.
So let me get
it's kind of be hard to like show the pour, but
that's right. Yeah.
And I don't even know if this glass will fill it all. But we're going to see. Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You
ready?
I'm going. Right. I'm pouring.
He's pouring. Per David Roth, Cubs are hopeful Dansby Swanson was just dealing with cramping. Long day for him at the hospital with his wife, Mallory, who had surgery this morning. successful knee surgery. If you saw that soccer game, thoughts with her. But they're hoping it's just cramping. That is something, Cody Del Mendo, if that is what ends up being the news, that is worth a chug. So let me get the clock on you here.
Can we just appreciate this pour?
That's a nice pour.
Okay.
That was a nice comeback. That's a nice injury update. And that's a nice pour.
Let's go.
You ready?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to chug this because I haven't tried this one yet, but
well,
this is for vibes.
I say savor with sips. That's what I say. Savor it with sips, because this is one we might be in October and be like, remember that game, the Velasquez game where Dansby was perfect? We were worried about everything, and he just had a cramp.
Yeah.
All right, go.
All right, here we go.
By the way, in the chat, everybody's saying they all want to chug. Some want me to chug. Not happening, despite the fact that I'm at home.
That made me laugh.
Yes, Craig Nelson Velasquez was awesome. Bears fan, man. Go Cubs, go. Francisco, no, I'm not chugging. Vanilla Chill says, who had Velasquez for who you got? And we will get to that, but I am kicking myself in the pants because in the pregame show, I brought up that he was one of my other choices that I was going to make. And Cody, wow. 7-run comeback, 33 seconds on the beer chug.
Let's go. I'm back.
Now that's a beer hug.
Let's go. I can't believe I just did that, but that one's really smooth.
33 seconds. Wow.
Goose Island, hazy beer hug. Again, 6.8 alcohol. Goose Island Beer Company, the best beer company Chicago has to offer. You're welcome. What a game. What a night.
Great win. I can't keep up with the chat. I'm trying to scroll through stuff. It keeps updating before I can even read it because there's so many people making comments. See, this is what's going to happen when the Cubs really take off. Like, we've only had this show when it's been first it was a few scrappy 15 of us hanging around, and it was, we were like, we're just ready. Cody would say, I'm ready to be hurt again. And then we'd watch the game and we'd be hurt again. And then we'd do stock updates on guys that were going to be traded. Now it's a fun team to watch. Cody's chugging beers on the show, and I can't keep up with the chat because partly I'm technically challenged, but also because they're going so fast.
Yeah. I just want to say for anyone who is shitting on my chug there, I've never been good at chugging. That might have been my best chug of my life in terms of the pressure that I was on here live on YouTube. And just, I've just had some practice the last week.
I mean, you've cut it in half each time you've done it. Maneki says, Cody's so happy he's got the giggles. Yes. I
do a little bit. I mean, that was a hell of a game. And now we're on YouTube. Yeah. We're talking about a winner. Everyone's happy in the chat. This is my kind of night. This is vibe with us, Stuck.
Greg says, so this isn't a good team? ? Exclamation mark. I don't know what they're going to be, but they're entertaining. And we said there is a ceiling for this team that is much higher than you've had in years past, partially because of the young guys coming up and partially because of the stopgap guys and partially because of guys like Dansby Swanson and Tyone being added to the team and expectations you have still for Stroman, who's delivered. Cubs on pace for 97 wins, Joey says. We
don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
But Niren points out, April.
I do want to say that is fake, Joey.
Third inning, standing, everybody's on their feet.
Wrigley that's Field. A fake Joey?
I do have to say that not a fake Joey. That's the fake Joey. So
it's the fake Joey.
Not even a real Joey.
I see our guy Greg Braggs in the chat, though. I appreciate our guy Greg Braggs.
Brick by brick. Cubs are building it brick by brick.
Brick by brick, baby.
By the way, the Bricks and Ivy shirt, good time to go get it. We've got new dope merch in the CHGO locker. We've got the CHGO Bricks and Ivy shirt and which Cody might wear tomorrow to show it off. I'm not sure. I don't want to tell him what to wear. Beautiful and historic marquee. Wow.
Yeah.
We might have to build one tonight. Where were you when the Mariners blew a 7-run lead? Where were you when Nelson Velasquez hit his first career grand slam?
I was on my couch losing my goddamn mind, Luke. That's where I was. Honestly, I said this on pregame. Like, I'm a little jealous of the Sox and the Blackhawks guys. This would have been a perfect show to do in studio.
Yeah.
I'm a little upset that we're doing this remote right now. I know, like, you live in the suburbs And
no, but I was
you
ready.
got the
was ready to
traffic
come
and
in
all
for this.
that. But
here we go. Now
anyway.
the Duke is stepping up. The Duke is stepping up. He's throwing $20 into the mix now.
The Duke.
One negative point to bring up was Wesneski was god awful. That said, now with encouraging Dansby news and beautiful comeback win, you could pitch a tent under me right now if I know it. What a dub. Listen, we're going to talk about Wesneski, but don't bring down the vibes. Hashtag vibe with us.
The hashtag vibe with us is it's a thing for a reason, man.
Yeah, it wasn't his night, and it's Herrera's fault, and we'll get to it later. But the rest of it was magical.
Absolutely. My thing with the offense, my thing with the offense tonight.
33-second beer chug.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that a few times. My thing with the offense tonight was, I just felt like they were spraying the ball all over the ballpark, right? Nico going oppo with their first baseman more towards the middle of the second base side. I understand the shift is banned, but man, they were just spraying the ball all over the park. Ian Happ, ground rule double. At that time, I thought maybe that was gonna loom large. Turns out it didn't, because they scored more runs. And Dansby 4 for 4 tonight. I just again, I still think that, or until we see a larger sample size, this team, the offense at least, it's hard for me to believe that they're going to be able to keep up with teams if they allow a 7-run.
Well, you're not going to
in first 2 innings or whatever. It's going to be hard to come back in those types of games. So obviously you need a better starting pitching performance. There's no doubt about that. But I will say this offense is better than what anyone is giving them credit for. They have at least proved that at this point. 14 runs tonight. They scored 12 against the Reds earlier last week. They scored 10 against the Rangers over the last weekend. Mm-hmm. They could put up some runs. Yeah, they've had games where they haven't scored runs, but and they got the home. Mancini finally hit a home run. It wasn't Wisdom tonight. It was Mancini and Velasquez hitting one. I see P. Wilson Porter in here, and I know he's been real negative on our chat the last few days. And with the whole thing with Velasquez, I agree, man. Like, why wasn't he here? I think he proved the Cubs wrong on that. The way that he was swinging in Iowa, and then what he did tonight. I agree. He should have been here, and he's an outfielder.
I'm good with the way it played out. He didn't make the team. He came on the World Baseball Classic. He used it as motivation. He went to Iowa. He was hitting 400. He had 3 home runs, and they're like, we got to bring him up. We've seen enough in right field. And you know what? Now, even when Seiya comes back, he still might be on the roster if he keeps playing like this. They need power. He just showed you, I got the power. I hit 3 home runs in Iowa. I was hitting 400, and now I just hit a grand slam. What else you want from me? So that's the way you do it. You get your opportunity, you run with it. You got to make the most of your opportunities. Vanilla Chill, by the way, figuring out the chat. He says, agree with Luke. Like always, hashtag vibe with us. It's always going to get read. Agree with Luke. Will always be read in the chat if I see it.
Yeah. The thing about Velasquez that was awesome, single, grand slam, walk, double. And then he had a chance for the cycle in the 8th inning. Didn't get it. They finally got him out in the 8th inning. So the thing about Velasquez last year, I always felt like he was boom or bust when he got the chances. And to see him take a walk, the walk he took tonight, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, he was down 0-2 in the count, worked it back to 3-2, and then got the walk. And I give him a lot of credit for that. That's like those types of when players walk, when that happens, like that type of scenario, that's when you know they're locked in. And he's locked in right now. And if right now, I would say that you have to put him into right field until Seiya Suzuki comes back for sure. And that's not a hot take. Clearly, which
could be Friday, by the way. We'll get to that. But Jed Hoyer was in the interview. He said it could be as early as Friday. McBaconator agrees with me.
So I think that you gotta, once Seiya does come back, you still got to find a way to keep him on the roster with the way that he's hitting right now, at least. I mean, see what happens tomorrow. Either way, he's a young guy, and he's shown that he can demolish AAA pitching. I think you got to keep him up here even when Seiya comes back, and you got to find a way to get him at bats, and that DH allows that. So I'm intrigued to see what happens with Velasquez moving forward. But I mean, I was a little optimistic about the guy, but I mean, let's be real. Last year he wasn't very good with the Cubs, so to see that to see the start is it's absolutely wild, to be honest. Like it's unbelievable, really. And it's not that I was ever down on him. I mean, hand up, if you're an OG of this show, you would know that I was like begging for them to call him up last year at certain points. So I'm happy for him, and I'm excited to see what happens next. I'm not going to expect 3 for 4 with a walk and a grand slam, you know what I mean, every night, but just productive at bats, and obviously the power, and he plays decent defense in right field. Is he going to be great? No. I don't think he's never going to be a great outfielder, but he'll be good enough. He's at least an outfielder with experience out there. And that's something that, honestly, Mastrobuoni didn't really have a ton of, at least. And same with Mancini. So
it's a great moment. It's a great grand slam. It's a great first game called up, comes up and hits the grand slam and has a terrific game, all that stuff. But he's not, we also need to cool out. He's not going to take over for Seiya Suzuki. If Seiya comes back, he's the right fielder. He's the better right fielder. But that doesn't mean Velasquez can't be a part of the team. He comes through with clutch hits like this. He becomes a candidate to be your DH way more often.
Yeah.
He does. You hit home runs like this, you'll find a way onto your major league roster if you have that power. And as for the Mervis thing, everybody says, we don't have Mervis yet. Mervis is where he probably should be. And I say that
at least for now.
For now, because Hosmer and Mancini are taking care of first base. Let him get the correct amount of at-bats, figure things out, be ready to go. And when he comes up, get it right. And that's okay. That's okay. We questioned in pregame show whether or not Mancini should be playing first base. Why isn't Hosmer playing first base? Who's DH? Yada, yada, yada. I'll be honest with you. Mancini made a couple of nice plays at first base. In addition to the home run, he made some nice plays at first. So they have some stopgap guys. Mancini's a 2-year deal. Hosmer, we know they're paying almost nothing on a prove-it deal. And so they're playing well. Ride this out as long as you can. And until Mervis absolutely forces you to make an uncomfortable decision, then you don't have to do it.
It's not even really an uncomfortable
well,
decision.
If all three are playing well, then it's the best case scenario, but it's going to be uncomfortable because you're going to have to decide, what do you do with Mervis? What do you do with two veterans that are playing well, that are not costing you a ton of money and are, you're going to have a decision to make.
Yeah.
And it's going to make somebody unhappy, but that's what you want.
Right. The thing about Mervis, the only reason that I'm okay with the fact that he has spent time down there is the fact that he only had one minor league season of, really good play. Right. So I wasn't against him starting the year in the minor leagues, especially after the sign Mancini. I was, if it would have just been Hosmer, then I've been like, all right, Mancini's going to, or not Mancini, Mervis was going to start the year on the team. And, he hit a home run tonight in Iowa, and, he continues to be very, very good down there. To me, he has proved enough down there. But I also think the Cubs want to see him get more at-bats down there. But you are right in terms of they're not in pressure to do it because Hosmer continues to hit, and Mancini
just hit a home run.
And he's had big moments.
Yeah,
you look at the slash line and everything. Yeah, it's not like awesome or anything, but he's had moments. He's gotten big hits when you need it. To me, I understand. He's 24, 25? I think he's 25. And so eventually you got to call him up.
He's a proven big league player. Like I see P. Will is saying he got to DFA him. He's got a negative WAR. Don't worry about that. We're like 10 games into the season. Like everybody just calm down. It's not, they're playing pretty good baseball. They're not playing
They're
themselves out of
6-4.
division race. Like they're getting better. Better players are coming, and hopefully Dansby's okay. And they're just more fun to watch. Just enjoy the ride. On a game where they come back from 7 runs, don't worry about that Mancini has a negative WAR. I'm not telling you how to cub, but like you do it however you want. I just would say this is one where you just enjoy it. If Dansby's okay, just enjoy it. And don't worry about the roster decisions that are coming, because that just means your team's getting better.
Duke, they're not going to DFA Mancini anyway. He's on
he's got a 2-year deal.
Yeah. And he's a good veteran to have around. You think he's going to play what his slash line is right now? You think he's going to play like that all season? Ask me in July.
He even said he's not locked in at the plate yet. We know that. We know he can be better at the plate. We're going to see it as it comes.
He had a great night tonight. Hopefully he builds on it. That's what you hope for, right?
Right. That's what he said right after the home run. He said just got his first home run. Hopefully that's some sort of building block.
But yeah, I am intrigued to see what they do with Velasquez when Suzuki comes back. Obviously, probably be your DH or just a guy off the bench. And at least he provides power. I think that's a reason to keep him up. But I do know that they might need a pitcher now because of all the bullpen arms that have been used. So I guess I wouldn't be super surprised if he was sent back down. But it's going to be it's a really tough decision to do that if he has a good couple games here at the major league level.
Yeah.
So
Wesneski, I always read your stuff. Wesneski says he agrees with me as always.
The Duke is back.
The Duke is back. Another $20. Also, does Madrigal not suck? That trade with the Crap Sox looking pretty good right now. I love the way this team strings together base hits. It's way more entertaining than home run swings. Ahem, KB Baez. I'll die on this hill. Listen, I'm never taking anything away from KB and Baez because they gave you the most exciting team in Chicago Cubs history. So yeah. I realized it was time to move on. Different players for different reasons. That's the way it went down. But I will never badmouth those guys because remember what they brought you.
Yeah, I mean.
And they were thrilling players. They were thrilling players. That said, the Duke, thanks for it. And I do agree that I love seeing the players string together base hits. Now, they had 18 base hits tonight. That's just not sustainable. Right. What is sustainable is that, Dansby was 4 for 4. His slash line's like 400, 467, 450. Like unreal. He's off the charts. And also Nico Horner, by the way, 5 stolen bases already. We're like 10 games into the season. He's got 5 stolen bases. That is continuing to be a trend around baseball. Now it may taper off throughout the season once pitchers and catchers figure out a better way to deal with it. But Nico gets plunked. 10 seconds later, he's standing at second base because he swiped a bag. Now that's not a hit by pitch. He's standing there. It's a double. Scores a couple minutes later. Like the action is fun to watch. The base hits are fun to watch. Strikeouts are not fun. Yes, Velasquez grand slam was the most exciting play of the game, but there were a lot of moments that I guarantee you people at Wrigley Field would say were fun moments that weren't the grand slam. As great as it was, could be the moment of the season for all we know.
Yeah. I mean, just those insurance runs were exciting because it at least made you feel a little bit better about the game. Because even though they got the lead, with those conditions out there at Wrigley Field tonight, you didn't feel safe with a 9-7 lead after that. You were hoping that you score more runs, but I also didn't give our bullpen enough credit. Our bullpen was insane tonight.
We're going to spend the second segment talking about them. They have to get some time, right? Because 2 nights in a row they've been great. So Velasquez was great. Dansby was great. Cody, you were great on the old Twitter machine. I don't know if Joey has your tweet, and I know you were only probably half serious when you tweeted it, and you might have been a few more beer hugs into it by then. But they're down 7-0. Wesneski's coming out, and Cody tweet something about what was the effect of it? Like basically my favorite part of this 7-0 game was going to be when this sparks a 7-run comeback or something, right? My
favorite part of the 7-run comeback is me manifesting the 7-run comeback with this tweet, something like that.
And so he actually, this is proof that he did it. He's got 15,000 views. My reader's on.
15.6 thousand views apparently. Yeah.
Only 106 likes. So find Cody on Twitter. He needs to be at least at 100 or 200
thanks,
likes
Joey.
by the end of this show. Somebody gave it a bookmark, probably Cody.
It wasn't me, to be honest.
It might have been Ryan. Doug Van Dorn says, agreed, Luke. The Cubs have 10 stolen bases a team right now, which is 9th in the majors. Yes, and thank you for always agreeing with me. No, seriously, you tweeted that out, and then they had the stat in the broadcast, which was hilarious, that down 7 runs that early in the game, the Cubs' win probability percentage was 4.1%. They turned 4.1% into a 14-9 win.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often.
No.
18 hits doesn't happen very often. So enjoy the moment. Let's hope that the Bulls and Blackhawks can take similar odds into success in the draft.
Right. I mean, the only reason I thought the Cubs might have still had a chance was just the wind was blowing out. And it's not like the Mariners had some ace out there throwing
I didn't think it was over at 7-0, but the odds of them coming back and winning it are a different thing, right? Like, I agree, because the wind was blowing out. I thought, well, this probably isn't over at Wrigley Field. If somebody gets a hold of a couple home runs against an average pitcher, the game's not over, but the likelihood of them catching up 7 runs and then scoring 14, pretty remarkable night. It's been two really good wins, and really back-to-back series wins. We said AL West, this division's no joke.
No.
They just took 2 teams that think they can make it to the World Series this year.
Or at least make the playoffs. You know what I mean?
For sure, teams that think they're in the playoffs. The Mariners absolutely think that they can be a World Series team. Right. And the Rangers have spent like a World Series team. So while they might not be the best teams in the American League, I guarantee you that they think they're playoff teams. So to take 2 out of 3 and 2 out of maybe sweep. Now you got Stroman on the hill. You go for the sweep. So great way to hopefully head out to California and build on a really, really nice homestand. Maybe we should knock out a few ads here because I want to keep you excited before you get to the Roman ad. I want to keep the vibes up. And look at the chat still going. I can't keep up. Cody's frozen there. Are you there, Cody?
I'm here.
Oh, no, you just
I was looking.
I thought I lost you, but you were just stunned at how good my read was about to be.
Absolutely. But I was also I saw Ryan Herrera's tweet about Dansby Swanson. So
what did he say? I haven't seen Ryan's latest tweet.
He said Cubs manager David Ross said Dansby Swanson was just feeling cramping after spending most of the day at the hospital while his wife Mallory underwent surgery. Seems more of a precautionary removal from the game at this point. So, which we already talked about.
Yeah, let's hope that that's the case.
Yeah.
I don't know that you're going to see him in the lineup tomorrow, but if you do, then it's really good things. Then it was just, dehydrated, tired, emotional day. Takes a lot out of you. I mean, a guy was 4 for 4 after being at the hospital all day. You could see how he'd be cramping up.
Yeah.
Cody's already shown you Goose Island's the best. It's the official beer of CHGO, Chicago's beer since 1988. Beer roster includes Blackhawks Pale Ale, Bull City 312, 312 Wheat Ale, the old Beer Hug IPA. Cody just chugged one. Went down a record 33 seconds for Mr. Del Mendo. Cody Del Quico is what they call him after. Cody Del Chuggo after that. So some people call us Chuggo too also. Beer Hug IPA, Green Line, like them all. We've got the big draft party coming with Goose Island at Joe's on Weed. 2-day draft party for the Bears draft coming up. So that's going to be fun. And Goose Island also has 2 local locations open and ready to welcome you. Grab a beer right from their innovation tanks at 2 of the Goose Island tap room. That is 1800 West Fulton, or you can get a smash burger and a fresh beer of the week at the original Clybourne Brew House. That is 1800 North Clybourne. For reservations, pickup, go to gooseisland.com/locations. Should have put my readers on for that one.
Yeah.
Cody.
Luke, we're excited here in the chat. We're excited in Chicago tonight because the Cubs made a huge comeback and won a game. And the only thing that can make this night better is Roman. I mean, you go home after this game and get your Roman out, you're gonna have a hell of a night. That's all I can say.
18 hits for the Cubs.
Exactly. Up to 50% of men have symptoms that get in the way of wanting or enjoying sex. Do you want a better sex life, Luke? If so, you're not alone. But Roman is here to help. Roman is the digital health clinic for men, addressing a variety of sexual health needs and offering genuine medication that helps achieve and maintain a strong erection. Roman offers discreet wipes that help you last 4 times longer in bed. And men with low T getting testosterone levels back to normal can help increase your libido. Got it right again, Luke. Roman offers a testosterone test, which includes lab processing. And if it's appropriate for you, treatment for low testosterone. No waiting rooms, no hassle, straightforward digital experience from the comfort of your home. If medication or testing is appropriate, Roman will send it directly right to your door. Everything arrives in discreet packaging with free 2-day shipping. To learn more about how you can achieve your personal sexual health goals, go to ro.co/CHGO to get 20% off your entire first order. That is ro.co/CHGO.
Nathan Weller says no need for Roman after that 3rd inning.
Some might say,
double down.
You could double down, man. Double down. Life's too short. Life's too short.
What do we got? 177 people in the chat. How many likes do we have?
Not enough. We need more.
Not enough likes. Colada says Roman is made for him, but he also pointed out that he was not happy with the Wesneski start. So,
do we have to finally talk about it? It's such a buzzkill, but we can talk about it. I know we should talk about it.
Let's just put it in context. Wesneski really struggled with the control, right? Like, I know that 2 of the runs were earned the way they finally went back and did it. But when you go an inning and a third, I think when Ryan and all the guys talk to Wesneski tonight, he's not going to say, only 2 of those were earned runs.
Right.
Those things happen. He had 4 walks, 5 hits, and I think another thing that shows you no strikeouts. Yeah. So he just didn't have his control. And he was frustrated in the first start, and you could visibly see it. He was better in the first start than he was tonight. He didn't have it. The good news is I still think he's going to be great. And the better news is that the bullpen really picked him up, because when you had Keegan Thompson pitch all those innings last night and you just had Assad sent down to AAA, you were probably sitting there like I was thinking, how are they going to even get through this game?
Yeah.
Because Cody says they're going to come back. I can see how they're going to score 7 runs. How are they going to stop the Mariners from scoring runs? Because how are they going to have enough arms for this? The guys that came in, Rucker, ALLCITY, Leiter Jr. again,
and Merriweather.
Great, Merriweather. They were fantastic.
Yep.
Fantastic. The bullpen, like Cody always says,
don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about them.
Yep.
And they continue to listen. Every bullpen has bad days, but this bullpen looked good. And the beauty of it is it can be a different guy every night, or it can be 1, 2, 3. It can be 4 guys in one night.
Right. Now, my thing about Wesneski, I'll say this. It was pretty funny to read some of my Twitter mentions where people are like, get this bum out of here, blah, blah, like already like done with him. And these are probably the same people who are like, this guy's got to be in the rotation after everything he did in the spring. All I said was have tempered expectations. I had to even send it into the Discord tonight. I have always said tempered expectations. You know why? Because he's a rookie pitcher, man. He came up in September last year, and he was great. But now the league has some tape on him. And that doesn't mean I still don't think he's going to be great eventually, but he's going to need some time. And yeah, people ask in the chat, if he has to go down to Iowa to work on some things, have at it. I mean, Kyle Hendricks is coming back. I was hoping for a better start tonight. I was optimistic he was going to give us a better start tonight, even with the wind blowing out. But the no strikeouts and the 4 walks aren't great. I will say this to defend him a little bit. The umpire was awful tonight.
He was bad.
Ryan tweeted the map of the strike zone or whatever, and the amount of balls that were borderline that were called balls. it's annoying. So, and I think that's on the umpire more than anything else, because it was there were some that were bad. Even JD and Boog said it. So, but again, that's not even really me defending him. I'm just saying that didn't help him. He wasn't sharp, and then that also didn't help him at the same time. All right. So, and obviously the defense didn't help him too. There's a reason that it's only 2 earned runs. Mancini, they changed it to an error eventually.
Yeah. That
goes back to what we talked about in pregame about why is Hosmer not playing first and Mancini is, whatever. He was fine after that. Whatever.
He did make a couple nice plays after.
Right. Dansby Swanson's first error as a Cub, no one saw that coming. I mean, that's a very rare thing. But if he fields that, they perhaps get a double play out of it. Maybe things go differently. I don't know. I don't know.
Continues the next inning. I just think he didn't have a feel for the ball. And again, this is not making an excuse. I think it's something you're seeing around baseball this year, that especially young pitchers, and I don't have, this is a Delmetric stat. I don't have the numbers or anything to back it up. This is just watching some games randomly. Yeah. I think this makes sense that this would happen. One of the offshoots, the pitch clock is my favorite thing, probably invented since sliced bread. One of the things that can be a negative every once in a while or a positive is that things can multiply quickly.
Yeah.
Things are happening quickly because the pitchers, despite having it in spring training, I think I heard one of the minor league pitchers talking about it in the offseason, saying, it took us about 2.5 months, 3 months to really get used to it. And then it was second nature. Okay.
Yeah.
They had like no violations after that. Joe agrees with me. Thank you, Joe.
Doug agreed with me. Thank you, Doug.
I think it's very easy to see that for someone that's been in a groove early, someone like Marcus Stroman, it can snowball in the good way. Now now you're running downhill. That's the good news. Mm-hmm. But when it's a young pitcher like Wesneski who can't find the feel in an amped up, warm weather game at Wrigley Field, he feels the pressure of the first game wasn't what he wanted it to be. He fought to get this 5th spot. And when he doesn't have the feel the first couple pitches, now you're trying to catch up. Now an error happens, and now you're trying to catch up. Now you're trying to collect yourself, and now Mancini, now Dansby, and you're like, there's no time to slow it down. They tried bringing out, the pitching coach comes out. It's a little more difficult, and that's not an excuse for the way he's pitched. I'm just saying it's probably realistic that is a slight factor in why you see a lot of guys being so up or so down. It's a little bit of a roller coaster because they're not used to the timing of this quite yet. I think Wesneski's going to be fine. Hey, yeah. I'm not saying he might not eventually go down. If this continues, go down, figure it out. My belief is that happens with guys anyway. It happened to Ian Happ. He's come back and been an all-star player. It's happened to Kyle Schwarber. He's come back and been a great player. Happened to Hobby. Happened to Rizzo. Like, could Wesneski end up going down after this great spring and having an iffy start? Sure he could, but I have confidence that his stuff is so nasty that not only if he does go down at some point in his career, which could be soon, then that he'll just bounce right back and he'll be fine. Yeah. This is not like the guy doesn't have the stuff to pitch in the big leagues. He does. It's about harnessing it, using it correctly, and having to feel. Any guy can have 2 bad games.
I guess there were, especially late in that second inning, there were multiple times where Wesneski got guys to an 0-2 count and then just couldn't finish them off. Yeah. And there were some, again, this brings me back a little bit to the umpire not giving him those borderline calls. But at the same time, he had some bad pitches mixed in there too that led to 3-2 counts, that led to those walks or led to hits. I'm with you. I'm concerned, but I'm not out on the guy. And there are actual people in my Twitter mentions tonight saying this guy's a bum. No. Send him to the moon. He's done. You
shouldn't be out on Killian, and this is not Killian. And I had somebody text me, a joking friend, this is Dylan Maples. It is not Dylan. It is not Dylan Maples. He's accomplished so much more already at the major league level than Dylan Maples. The only thing that's comparable is that they have like video game stuff.
Yeah.
Even when Wesneski didn't have a feel for his pitches tonight, you see some of those sweeper sliders and some of his pitches, and you're like, is somebody controlling that with a joystick? Like what is happening to the ball when the guy throws it?
Yeah. I just felt bad.
It's going to be fine.
I felt bad for him when David Ross came out. I think Bleacher Nation tweeted like the screenshot from Marquee. David Ross walking out, and he's just standing there with his head down, like he just couldn't believe that it was this bad.
Yeah.
And when he's on, man, what we saw in September last year is no fluke. You don't come up from
spring is no fluke.
Right. Well, again, you don't.
I know it's spring ball. I know it doesn't mean anything, and guys are working on stuff. But I agree. Last season was the bigger.
I mean, the guy had an immaculate inning. He's had success. I just think he needs to find that groove. He's got to get his confidence back, and it's going to be interesting to see how his next start goes if they give it to him, which I would assume they will give it to him. The only time that I'll be worried if he's in this staff is if it continues and Kyle Hendricks is healthy.
Right.
So,
right. Which we think Hendricks is going to attend. Well, he's supposed to pitch 2 innings tomorrow
of live.
And then Jed mentioned the fact that, he's pretty close to going out on rehab starts and getting to work here. So we'll see. Tom Green says, well said, Luke. Thank you, Tom. And Rhonda also agrees with me. So anybody that agrees with me, most likely.
I like Jake's comment. He says Wesneski could turn around and win Rookie of the Year. Manifesting. See, I like that.
See, that's the way Cody predicts a 7-run comeback, and it happened. Jake says still could turn it around and win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
See, some of us may have picked him for Rookie of the Year. Still could happen.
His performance doesn't hurt as much anymore because the Cubs end up winning the game.
Yes.
And you got Stroman tomorrow, and the Cubs are going to really need a good, strong start from him to preserve some of their bullpen. But they just can't afford a lot of these types of starts. They just, like, if they plan on being in the playoff race late in the season, they just can't have a lot of these starts. So again, I said it in the spring, I said, opening day at the pregame show, when we were talking about just the season in general, like, tempered expectations for him, because you knew it was gonna be a roller coaster. Like, if you followed baseball long enough and you've watched these young pitchers, not everyone is Mark Pryor, man. Not everyone is Mark Pryor. And that's why Mark Pryor was so great. And the only reason his career was derailed was because of injuries. But I still think he can be a very, very, very valuable pitcher. I'm still all in on him.
It's 2 starts.
So we'll see. I'm already excited for another 5 days down the road. I'm already excited for it if they keep him up here. Because again, I wouldn't be surprised if we wake up tomorrow, we go to the office, and all the Cubs notes comes out and like, oh, they're sending Wesneski to Iowa because they got to bring up a pitcher because their bullpen is depleted right now because of how much it's had to pitch the last couple of days. So we'll see, but I don't think that's going to happen.
How many people do you think did what Doug Van Dorn did? He admits in the chat, he says, got to admit, I turned it off being down 7-0, decided to go back and check. It was 7-3. Cubs started to roll. I guarantee there were a lot of people that, there's just so much stuff going on. You turn it on early and it's 7-0. Are you going to hang with the whole game? Well, we are, because we're a little crazy. But and the diehards are crazy. That's why we call them the CHGO diehards, which you can sign up, by the way, at allchgo.com. You get all kinds of cool stuff, free stuff. But I guarantee there were a bunch of people that turned it off and then checked back in a score app or something later in the day and were like, what?
I admittedly, even on days when I know we're not doing a show, I leave the game on. Doesn't matter. Like all those games last year when we didn't do a show, I left the game on. It became background noise on games that weren't good. But yeah. So shout out to those people in the chat. Anyway. Can we talk about the good pitchers tonight?
Yeah, I mean, which one you want to talk about? Rucker, ALLCITY? Like, I've been impressed with ALLCITY. ALLCITY, he's showing you that he likes that role.
Mm-hmm.
And what I appreciate about that is ALLCITY is a guy who could have gone to the team and said, no, it's not just Wesneski and Sampson and this guy. Like, I want to be part of that competition. I deserve to be. I was one of the top pitching prospects. I could have been me. Instead, he's embraced this role. We even got that from the conversation at Cubs convention. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, if they give me a chance to be a closer, that would make me even the most excited. But I like what I'm doing. So he's embraced it, and he's become very valuable early in this season.
Yeah. We got a super chat, and then I'll go into my point about ALLCITY. Stephen Casson, I don't know. $1.99. Just go Cubs, go. Salute to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.
Hashtag vibe with us.
ALLCITY was great, and he pitched yesterday, and to see him still be able to go 2 innings tonight, strike out 1, not allow a hit, not allow a run, didn't walk anyone. I think that's the big thing about the Cubs bullpen tonight. 0 walks across the board.
Yeah.
I thought he was kind of that settling piece because I think he was one of the first. I think Rucker, he gave up the home run to Kelenic, but he had 3 strikeouts, and allowed 2 hits, and so he had some. He went through some things, but he didn't give up any runs, or outside the home run, of course. But for him to be able to go the 2 2/3 to eat up some innings was huge. But ALLCITY was the one who really shut it down, and the Mariners went a couple innings without scoring runs. Meanwhile, the Cubs extended their lead during that time, and I thought that was the key point of this game. And ALLCITY is that guy we keep talking about. Like, by the end of the year, could he be your back-end guy? Could he be your closer? Maybe. I'm still okay with Fulmer. I know he gave up the home run yesterday, but he also had a 6-out save on last Friday, in the Stroman start. He's shown to be very good, and he gave up a home run yesterday, and he's been very good throughout his career in the bullpen. All right, I feel good about him. And then Leiter Jr. Surprising, the chat's nice about him. I remember last year everyone was done with this guy. The Cubs have found a role with him.
Some of the chat's been nice to him.
Yeah,
like, he's been effective.
He's been effective, especially against lefties.
Well, yeah, but that's what they want him to do.
Right. 2 strikeouts, only 1 hit tonight. And, of course, the 1 hit was Kelenic. Kelenic is the only Mariner that has really been, consistently been mashing us. I think I'm saying his name right. Kelenic. I hope I'm saying it right. And then Merriweather. I know everyone was like, who is this guy? Because of, his first appearance as a Cub.
Yeah.
The dude pumps 97. And all I'll say is the strikeout he got on Suarez, a guy who's mashed the Cubs his entire career, he bought me back in. I was like, okay. I know the score was 14-9 or whatever, and I know he ended up giving up a run. Whatever. I can see why the Cubs are intrigued about him. That he is this year's pitch lab project. And so I am excited to see how that plays out because, again, pumps upper 90s and just has really nasty stuff to go with that. And he came up huge tonight. He was someone that, honestly, David Ross didn't have any confidence in, but he was the freshest in the bullpen. He went out there and gave you 2 innings to close out a game that saw a lot of runs in it. So I was really happy about the bullpen. I take pride in it because I am someone who sits here and is like, don't worry about it. Because they've shown over the last few years that they can just plug and play different dudes in different roles. And they figured it out. The bullpen, in a way, saved the night for the Cubs. In a way.
But now somebody's got to help them. Gary's pointing out, he says you need to call up Estrada tomorrow. Like, you've really burned through the bullpen. And first of all, you hope that Stroman can give you his 3rd straight spectacular start. That's what you hope. You hope he has a great start. You hardly need a bullpen tomorrow. And then you get a day off before you travel to California. That's the perfect scenario. Stroman is spectacular again. You get a day off. You recoup. Dansby's healthy. You go out to California and try and continue the hashtag vibe with us tour.
Yeah. I mean, this was a win we'll probably remember all year, but it's also in terms of the current moment, to be able to get this win with a chance to sweep tomorrow, but also even if you don't win tomorrow, you still feel okay. You win 2 series at home against an AL West teams, and you get an off day before you go play the Dodgers, a Dodgers team that, they're very good, but they're not the same Dodgers team, at least at this point in the season. They're not the same Dodgers team that we've seen over the last few years. So I'm feeling really good about the team. We're 6-4, first 10 games. I don't think you can. I mean, yeah, sure. David Ross had some misplays in the bullpen, and maybe the lineup a few times, but that's what happens early in the year when you're trying to find out roles for dudes. So I don't at this point you couldn't have asked for a better start for a team that honestly we sat here all winter and in spring training we're like, well, what if they do this and what if do that? For them to be 6-4 at this point, you have to feel, if you don't feel good about it, then I just assume that you're just miserable all the time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we knew this team wasn't going to hit a lot of home runs. That's why partially why the Velasquez, just another reason why the Velasquez grand slam was so crazy. The fourth fewest home runs in baseball this year, but they got some home runs tonight. When they needed a ton of runs on a night where the pitcher wasn't good, they actually got them. Like, how many times would you want that to happen last year and you just be like, this is over? This is over. They got no chance of coming back. How many times did I sit on the couch and just be like, you'd get all excited and you'd be all ramped up and you'd be throwing stuff at the TV like, Cody, this is over.
I didn't do that.
Cody, it's over.
I did that
you'd get excited. You'd be excited.
Times.
Come on. I'd be like, it's over, Cody. I don't want to be the one to tell you, but this is over. And
you're making me look bad to all the new
feel
listeners. Luke. Come on, man.
I feel differently. This team has a little fight to it. It's got a better mix, and I'm not guaranteeing that they're a playoff team. Right. I just don't think they're a team that's going to fall out of it and leave you 30 games out of a playoff spot. Like they're going to make this season interesting and fun to be a Cubs fan and watch. And we're here for the ride. Joe says, I agree with Luke. Last year, the team just rolled over. See, you said you agree with me. I read it.
Someone said they agree with me too.
I saw that, but I passed over because it wasn't my name.
I think said that. I don't know. Someone agree with me. Sorry. Anyway,
get out the room. What do you got for me, Cody?
My favorite part about after the Cubs win is the new hashtag light it up or light the W. Light the W.
Oh, yeah.
That's the new hashtag because the LED lights at Wrigley are elite. The light shows are elite.
Do we have to change do we have to change the way we end the show? Fly the W? Do we have to
light the W?
Change it to light the W from now
on? I'm kind of I'm pretty pro like we should on that. I like that.
I mean, I did it for pregame, so maybe tonight light the W again.
Yeah.
Home game wins, light the W.
It all started. The whole new lights at Wrigley had to have started because of the ComEd efficiency program. And it's committed to helping families and businesses and communities they serve, helping manage energy usage with lower energy bills now and into the future, Luke.
Oh, absolutely, Cody. It offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, public sector customers of all sizes across the territory. And ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities like HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes. In fact, the Cubs have like 200 less lights than they used to have, and the field's way brighter.
Wow. How's this work?
So here's what happens. An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and your needs. These can be done in person or virtually, last about 2 hours. Then within 3 to 4 weeks, customers get a report detailing the energy efficiency projects that they can start working on right away. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, cost savings, project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback. And also, if you own a business, you're not going to want to wait on this. To start saving money and energy today, energy saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
Did you say ComEd.com/poweringbiz, Luke?
You're damn right I did, Cody Del Mendo. Get out there and get it done. Let me tell you, those new lights are so bright and so spectacular. And now 2-0. The Cubs have never lost under the new lights at Wrigley Field. Keep that in mind. Never lost at Wrigley Field with the new lights. Let there be light. Shady Rays never understood why sunglasses were so expensive, so they set out to change it. You don't have to break the bank for quality sunglasses because our friends at Shady Rays have you covered. Shady Rays are premium, polarized shades, like Cody Del Mendo's right there on the YouTube feed, featuring world-class optical clarity, substantial durability, styles catered to everyone and every lifestyle. Mine are less flamboyant than Cody's, that doesn't mean they're right. Look at that. The guy's like, it looks like you could go play right field for the Cubs tomorrow. The best part about Shady Rays, they have this insane protection program, the best in all of eyewear, lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your shades on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Doesn't matter if you drop them in a lake, off a cliff, if you accidentally jump up and down and sit on them because Nelson Velasquez just hit a grand slam to put the Cubs ahead. They'll still replace those shades. Even with that strong of a protection program, they still manage to make quality that I can tell you holding in my hand seems as good as any expensive pair I've ever worn. Shady Rays customers seem to agree, too, because over 200,000 five-star reviews exist. Shady Rays, they're pretty great, too, because they also provide 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order placed. They've donated over 20 million meals to date, and they stand behind their product, too. They told our team if anybody has a problem, they're just going to throw profit out the window, do what it takes to get it right. Free returns, free exchanges. You either love your Shady Rays or they're going to ship them back. That's it. Exclusive for our listeners right now. Shady Rays running their deepest deal of the spring season. Use the code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com. That's buy one, get one free. BOGO, baby. You can get 2 pairs as low as $54. Redeem only at shadyrays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades. We're over 200 still in the chat, going strong.
Whoa,
208.
look at us. Who would have thought?
Awesome game. Adam, welcome to the chat.
Adam. Really
Gary,
awesome game.
I saw Gary agreed with me. I'll give a shout out to Gary.
We give Gary a lot of shout outs, but he's also a diehard, so he's earned it.
He's in the Discord.
He is. Michael Collada, did ComEd put in the new toilets too? Man, this Ricketts is cool, man. Wow. What a spin from Michael Collada.
Collada's turned it around. He's Captain Positive. He's the new Captain Positive.
He's the new Captain Positive. He even said that Mark Leiter is his new favorite player.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know if
I feel like I was bamboozled and led astray. You know what I mean? So
listen, we're waiting. We're hoping Ryan Herrera is going to join us. We do have the report from him though. Also, Taylor McGregor tweeted out. David Ross said after the game that they believe Dansby Swanson just was cramping. They took him out, precautionary reasons. It was lower left side tightness, which had me panicked thinking it's oblique. This is going to be worse than Seiya. This is going to be at least a month, maybe more. Could bother him all season. So far, no reason to believe that. So far, the Cubs believe it was just cramping. He was with his wife. She had surgery for a torn patella, I believe. Her knee was torn up in the Team USA soccer game over the weekend. She had surgery. He was with her at the hospital, came back, played in the game, was 4 for 4, and then right before they were about to take the field, he threw one over, and he was like, nope, something's not right. Madrigal goes in. Panic ensues. Our Slack channel at work is melting down because Brennan is sobbing into his computer. It's short-circuiting. He's yelling at Ryan to go get me a damn update. Go check on him. It was like complete chaos is the only way I can describe it. Yeah. Now we get what appears to be good news. They think it's cramping. We'll know more tomorrow. I think we're going to know more tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I think Gary said something in the chat. Set him tomorrow. They should set him for precautionary reasons tomorrow. You already won the series. You got Stroman on. And I'll just go ahead and give Nick Madrigal 2 days of credit. He came in, played okay at second, made a nice play. And then when he got to bat, he was in Swanson's spot in the order. And he drove in a run with a single up the middle. And then, he tried to steal second, didn't work out. But he was productive when he came in, and he didn't make any bad plays at second. I think for one game, we can be okay if Madrigal plays second and move Horner to short. That's something we talked about. Yeah. We talked about in the spring when we talked about how the infield how we projected the infield playing on certain days. For one day, especially, and again, for precautionary reasons only, if it's really not that serious, just sit Swanson for 1 day, put Horner at short tomorrow, and let Madrigal get some at-bats and play second. And at least you can feel okay with Madrigal at second because that is his natural position.
Let's see what Ryan Herrera thinks. Ryan's ready to join us. We get another super chat, by the way, from Gerard, $20, saying, Hope Dansby is good. It's too early in the month for cramping. Get the sweep tomorrow. Hey, whatever you say, Gerard, $20. That's $60 for Gerard.
Shout out to
today.
Gerard.
Shout
Also,
out to Gerard.
hashtag Mike Dubs.
Hashtag Mike Dubs. Don't forget. And hashtag the Duke. Ryan was there. This is probably the craziest game he's ever seen. What did they say? This is the first 7+ comeback for the Cubs since that game against the Braves.
Ryan was also he was at the
something like that.
walk-off.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. That was crazy. But that Braves game 4 years ago was the one.
Oh,
I
thought you told me you were at that game. I'm sorry.
I was. I just I don't remember the game. So,
yeah,
I was
the one with
it was a joke.
I was covering the Rockies at the time. So it's like,
oh, okay,
it was uneventful Rockies.
Bad joke.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Well, that Braves game 4 years ago, I remember I was sitting in a bar with some family members, and they kept cutting to a shot of poor Kelly Krull, sitting on the end of the dugout, just getting poured on. It was like they were walking. It was just 1,000 walks in the game, and the Cubs made this crazy comeback. And I remember saying when I was there, this might be I've sat in a lot of miserable games at Wrigley Field down at the end of that dugout where the weather is awful. This might be the worst one ever. What a comeback. This was a totally different type of comeback. The weather was spectacular. Everything was great. But then, Ryan, the panic set in. The absolute panic set in. Did you see how nervous Brendan was about this Dansby Swanson removal from the game?
Brendan was stressing out. Brendan was stressing out more than he should have been. I had to mess with Brendan a little bit in our Slack. I had to get it, just kind of keep that stress level high for a couple extra innings. But Brendan, if you're listening, you don't have to stress out any longer, at least for tonight. From what we've heard, David Ross, Dansby Swanson both talked. Just some cramping. Dansby mentioned that he was at the hospital with his wife Mallory for her knee surgery at 4 a.m. in the morning. He said he hasn't really eaten, drank enough water, or really slept much the last couple of days. So he said he felt like the body was just kind of done. I think, it was an exhausting day. Body, was just kind of done at that point. He said that, he knew that if he went out there and just continued to play, he could be putting himself in harm's way. So precautionary. I think it's smart on, both the Cubs side and Dansby side. I think where the Cubs were at that point, you felt like the lineup would give them enough juice to keep the Mariners at bay, and you felt like the bullpen was at the top of their game. Obviously, he doesn't want to come out of a game. He doesn't want to miss a game in general. But as far as we know, he didn't want to make a guess on if he's going to play tomorrow. He said he'll talk to Ross. Something tells me, my gut tells me that Ross would like to give him a day, and we know Ross likes to give his guys, get them off their feet when they need it. I don't want to say he won't play tomorrow because Dansby Swanson might surprise you, but for now, it just looks like a precautionary thing. Maybe sits tomorrow, and then it's right back in the lineup for LA.
Sounds good. Let's get to who you got. What do you think? Actually, I do want to ask you one quick question. I do have one question about. I want to ask you what Nelson said after the game, because he's the guy hits his first career grand slam. It's this incredible comeback for the Cubs. And by the way, you can go to the CHGO locker and get those new shirts for free right now. They're not free.
Unless you're not a diehard and you become one tonight.
If you're a diehard, you can get one of them for free. Yeah. He had this spectacular game, and the Dansby injury just kind of changed the storyline for a lot of people watching the game. But really what we should remember about this game, as long as Dansby is okay, is that this guy was a part of an amazing comeback, and what a moment for him to be called up and do that.
Yeah, I mean, when we talked about he got optioned a little while back, right, during spring training. It wasn't a last second, last final day of cuts, and he was going to AAA. He got optioned a little while back. I mean, the WBC, he said he learned some stuff from those guys that he played with on Team Puerto Rico. But yeah, I mean, you look at his stats from AAA, he was destroying the ball, and I think he had 30-something at bats in AAA, destroying the ball. Got brought back up yesterday, got in the game defensively, didn't get that at bat in the ninth, but was starting in right field today, and just right away seemed like he was seeing the ball pretty well. I mean, the flags were blowing out the straight center. It was a hitter's paradise today. But Nelson, coming in that spot. I mean, it's not like he's making his debut. Like he's been in pretty big spots before last year while he was up. But to come into that spot, down 3 runs, bases loaded. I don't remember off the top of my head how many outs there were. I think it was still just 1 at that point. Gets that 3-1 count. Crowd starts getting on their feet, getting loud. And that's like that kind of storybook moment, right? And he was ready for it. And I mean, he took it out. Off the bat, it was gone. And I called it. You can ask, our friend Tim Stebbins, friend of the program. I said it right. I said it to him right before he hit that. But we'll let him.
They called it on the broadcast, Ryan. Boog basically said, or JD, one of them said, like, be kind of incredible plates to hit a grand slam and take the lead.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It felt like that was going to happen, just the way that inning was going.
Agreed.
Big spot for a guy just up. It's awesome moment for him. He's excited. He had, Nico had the cowboy hat yesterday, passed it on to Nelson. So it's going to be like the brotherhood of the traveling cowboy hat now. No, it's a big moment for him. Really cool to see him come up in that moment after having just gotten, called back up the day before. Yeah, man, it's not. I mean, I know we talked about it before in our Slack. It's like it shouldn't just be a 1 day, 2 day, 3 day kind of call up. It'd be weird if that was. After that, it's hard. It's hard to send someone back down after that. So I think Nelson's given him himself a little bit of breathing room up here in the big leagues.
Any other nuggets from that? I mean, we talked about the great bullpen, Hawaiian Herrera. Baseball Writers Association of America. You got your own graphic now.
Look
you
at
can
that.
Tell Joey's back. Joey's back. He's working hard.
He's
Even
back.
though he's at home, he's making graphics.
We have to show that every time Ryan joins now.
That's
yeah.
2
As long
for
as I'm
2
wearing
with the new
Hawaiian.
lights and 2 for 2 with Hawaiian shirts, Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Coincidence?
Got to take advantage of it. Got to take advantage of it while we get the weather.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you heard, Cody has his chug down to 33 seconds. So we're making
too
progress
long.
all over the place.
Still too
Hawaiian
long, in my
shirts,
opinion.
new lights.
I don't need your slander, all right? It was a big night for me.
It's too
It
long.
was.
Yeah.
It was a big night. Let's get to who you got, all right? Because we got Stroman going tomorrow. We all got to be back there doing stuff. Ryan's got to be back at the ballpark. By the way, the chat's still 200 strong. We're over an hour. We're at an hour and 10 minutes here now. We had a lot of picks. There's a lot going on here tonight. Now, we can all agree that Corey won.
Yeah, I think Corey.
Dansby Swanson wins. Like I had 2. I was 2 for 2 with Bellinger, and I thought I've got a pretty good thing going here. But when a guy goes and is at the hospital till 4 a.m. with his wife's knee surgery, comes back and goes 4 for 4 at the plate, forget
You
the
give
air.
it to him.
I don't care
You give
about
it
the
to
air. He won who you got. So Corey is up to 3-5. Ryan falls to 4-4. Cody and I are down to 2-6 on the season. Yeah, 2-6. Well, it's 2
wasn't I 4-2 yesterday?
No, you're
you're 4-4 now.
Okay.
4
All
and
right,
4.
I'll take it.
According to what Notion says, yes.
You're 4-4. Now, the big, I don't want to end the show on negative feels, but we do have business to take care of as commissioner. I do have to point out that we have the rule that if you take a pitcher and he sort of bombs or has a bad game,
Okay.
you risk suspension from
But
taking a pitcher for 2 weeks.
Here's the argument. When you say he bombs, that's what we said on opening day. He has to bomb. Are you going to tell me a guy who got 5 unearned runs in the second inning, a guy who would have been out of that probably pretty cleanly, if not for 2 errors, you're telling me that pitcher bombed?
Well, are you sure that he would have got out of the third inning?
Yeah. Trey Mancini makes that play. Dansby Swanson converts that
he
double
went
play.
into the second. But if they don't make the
that's
errors, do you think he makes it through the third inning after?
We'll never know, right? Because the errors happen.
Well,
Right. But when he had the opportunity to
1/3
get out,
innings.
he still had
No,
4 walks and 5 hits in an inning and a third.
Vanilla Chill says 1 1/3 innings is a bomb.
No, I disagree, man. He had all those after these errors kept happening. He could have got through 4 or
He
5
also
innings.
gave up a
for all we know.
bomb to Suarez, and Julio Rodriguez
Those
almost
are-
hit one.
Here's the good news.
Fair.
The bad news is
There
you
was a
can't
lot of
take a
hits
picture.
given up.
You can't
Nah,
take
I
another
disagree.
picture until
I'm-
April 26th.
I'm I'm going to
The
play
good
the rest.
news is
I'm play the rest
there
of
are
the
a lot
season
more
under
guys to
protest
take on
for that.
offense this year.
I'm going to play the rest of the season under protest for that because I think that's BS. I think that's complete BS, and that's just you two ganging up.
How the
turntables. You two are sitting cozy on your couches. You're going to log off and probably go to bed after this, and I have a long night ahead of me. You're taking one out on me.
I'm so sorry for you that you have to
I
say
agree
beautiful
with Luke
historic
on this.
Wrigley Field for a 7-run comeback, Ryan Herrera. I'm so
You're just taking
sorry
it out
for
on me.
you.
You're taking it out on me.
What does the chat think here? We're gonna
Everyone
take
says that
the
he's
L.
bomb.
Ryan says Shay. Bryant says bomb. Bryant Robinson says 2-week suspension. Rick just says L. Ryan.
How do we know these aren't your guys?
Vanilla
burner
Chill
accounts?
says,
We don't
I
know.
agree with Luke. 2-week suspension. Gary Ross, I agree with Luke. Joe,
Lucas-
sorry, Ryan, buddy, bomb. This is
Lucas-
the worst argument ever. Bomb.
Part of the bit, man. Just enjoy it.
Lucas said, "Give Ryan a pass." I agree with Lucas.
Someone did tweet
Lucas,
at me that,
we do
that
have
I
one.
got screwed.
There is
last night.
one
So
person
shout out to that
backing you
person.
up on this. You'll be fine.
What do you mean there's not? Yeah,
You'll be
that's more
fine.
than-
You're in first place. There's a lot more hitters to choose. And you do the
That's-
research, Ryan Herrera. You step up, get through this 2-week suspension.
I had one
Oh, you
person
are
in the
first.
chat backing me up. That's one more than Cody had backing him up in the chat yesterday.
Remember,
yesterday
last year I
We'll have
was
to go back and look at that.
unofficially
I'm sure there was
suspended.
someone that was
there
supporting
was
me.
nobody.
And someone,
nobody.
again, someone tweeted at me today saying that I got screwed and who you got.
They weren't in the chat though.
I can send you the tweet. He said he was. He just didn't say anything in the chat. He said he was watching.
Should have said something in the chat.
All right. Cubs win. Maybe
Out the
could be
turntables.
possibly the most exciting game of the season. We're hoping it's just one of many. 14-9 after being down 7-0, which Cody predicted. Hats off to Cody for that one.
I did.
Very exciting. Back there with Stroman tomorrow. We don't have a pregame tomorrow. We will be here for postgame. Michael Collada agrees with Luke. Old guys should stick together.
You are old.
Hashtag light the W.
Light the
Thanks for
W,
checking out
baby.
the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook. Make sure you download the app. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Still 200 strong. Probably the best chat we've ever had. Like, it was going by so fast I couldn't even
Ours
keep track of
vibes.
it. Let's make it even better. 1:20 tomorrow. Stroman, we'll see you for the post-game show. Until then, light the W.